up to a div. Shot for goal, shot for goal, shot for goal, shot for goal! Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you might be tuning in from, and welcome to Shot for Goal, your fix for what's happening right now in the world of Ultimate. I'm your host, Stef Pazzo, alongside my trusty sidekick, Noah Brinkworth. How you doing today, No?
I'm doing very good. We just had our first little training weekend for my home team, and I had a lovely weekend. And Steph, it is my birthday tomorrow, so I'm pretty excited about that. I've got some fun birthday plans.
How old are you going to be, No? You over 24 yet?
I'm 24. 24 tomorrow.
Okay,
so moving out of being young.
You are
young
a
is over
now. Senior.
Yeah.
I hate actually the
road
word
to masters,
senior.
baby. What should it be
Senior.
if not master senior? Prime?
I mean, I want to call it open age division, but because the division is called open and not men's, that makes it confusing as well. But senior, I just like senior citizens, like senior.
Yeah.
Senior. It doesn't like to non-ultimate players who don't know about the division of open. I still feel like it's not the right nomenclature for, elite is maybe just the best way.
I totally agree. I get that same like seniors reaction when you talk about senior national teams with people just getting into the sport or not involved in the sport at all. I like Prime. Prime's a fun one. It's a bit too branded, but like
we could get
Prime age.
Logan Paul's sport drink to sponsor Ultimate. Surely he's got us on the radar.
Hey man, I mean he's getting into niche sports. He's in the pro wrestling space now, which I feel like is a niche sport.
Have you seen
Logan
him
Paul's
talking smack with Tom Brady in the flag football realm this last week too?
I saw he was playing. I didn't see the smack talking. What's that?
Yeah, he actually picked off Joe Burrow. And by the way, I think that was a great project as far as niche sports go. Flag football in the Olympics, taking our spot. Everybody's taking.
Hey, they paid a lot more for it than we would have.
Oh yeah, they paid a lot more, and they got way deeper pockets. Thank you, NFL and company. But all of these NFLers is like, I'm going to the Olympics. We're going to the Olympics, and all the flag footballers are like, wait a minute, dude. It's like, we're the best at this sport. It's not the NFL. It's a different iteration. And so Team USA beat all these all-star teams. Now, were these all-star teams real all-star teams? Yeah, maybe not. Did they ever train together? Like, could the actual best in the game maybe do a bit better? Maybe, but Team USA flag football beat NFLers in flag football. Like, people like Logan Paul playing on a celebrity team as well, but there were NFL teams. Joe Burrow got picked off by Logan Paul, actually, but yeah, I thought it was pretty cool to see the flag football team winning their tournament against bigger profile names.
Yeah, I watched a lot of media, a lot of little clips about this. I'm tuning into Theo Ash NFL for all my NFL takes media review. I think he's one of the best content creators out there if you're kind of getting into the NFL or if you want like more detailed analysis. He was saying that it was pretty interesting that like he imagined going in, and I imagine the same way, that the players in the NFL who could make this Olympic team were your like Saquon Barkley, like running back kind of players, elusive. But actually the way that the flag football mains can kind of like drop their hips and like run on their shins almost, Steph. I don't know if you've seen some of those clips where they're ducking under the tags. It's like kind of cool and kind of unique, which they can do with a slightly smaller frame, whereas there were some wide receivers. I mean, Odell Beckham Jr. got a ridiculous catch there, and some of the quarterbacks, the NFL quarterbacks, also had really good games. Maybe they could be vying more for those NFL spots. I think there could be, on the flag football team, I think there could be some ultimate players vying for those spots as well. I think Kayla Helton has talked about a little bit about trying out for flag football. There was a player from the US who was playing on the GB flag football team at the World Games 2025. I want to say Abby Schultz, but that might be the wrong name. But you know,
throw it out there.
Yeah, we can throw it out there. I mean, the final thing to bounce back to you on, Steph, is one of the age-old discussions in the sport is, you know, how long would it take you to get an NFL team and have them beat like the best men's prime age players in the club division? And is this a little bit of evidence that the sport-specific skills is pretty handy, even against elite athletes, where the difference between flag football and football versus football and ultimate, I mean, is much closer, the flag football game, and they struggled, given, you know, pretty much no training time. But are we expanding how long that would take? Are we saying that maybe ultimate players could beat a 1 or 3 month trained NFL team with the skills they have?
Yeah, I go back and forth with that. I think that the pro athletes, you know, it's going to take them a while to learn these skills. And it's going to take them a while to learn the game, to know the spacing, to have the vision. I mean, you got to say, like, okay, they've got some ingrained nature. There are great athletes that can move sport to sport and pick something up so quickly. But all of them pick it up. Like, I mean, it's easy to plunk one person into a sport and make them awesome, playing around players. Everybody can be their teacher. Everyone's their mentor. Everyone gives them tips and, like, you know, plays to them, recognizing that their skills are different. You know, you standing behind them for an immediate dump in the early days. These kind of things, and you know, just go deep and we'll chuck you pie. I don't know what the timeline is, but I still think if you really take the greatest athletic specimens that are playing professional sports for the most millions, like if Messi's playing with LeBron, who's playing with I don't know, Joe Burrow and the rest, I still give them, like, you give them 4 months together, I think that they're vying for a gold medal at the end of that campaign.
I don't think you're far off there, Steph. I mean, talking of the best athletic specimens in the game, it was also US Ultimate Nationals at the weekend. Tournament out in Austin. Win the tournament. Ultimate, a form of Ultimate less played in Europe, I would say, compared to the US. Throwing the disc between a goal hoop and then catching it afterwards in a scoring zone. Kind of a lower scoring game than Ultimate. Steph, I know you haven't watched as much of this, so I can tell you that there was a Boston team with some players you might know, like Simon Carapella from Pac-Man and Ned Dick from Boston Dig. They took the win against the defending Austin-based champions. In the women's division, it was the KC Cuties headed by... Oh my god, her name escapes me. World Games player, Cammy Groom, who was the best player on the field by a decent way, and got it by the Lobsters, a Boston-based team as well. I think the KC Cuties are kind of mix of people from everywhere. Cammy Groom, absolutely electric as a cutter in the small spaces, just as she is in the big spaces ultimate. I wonder if you've ever played any Ultimate, Steph, if you've got any thoughts.
I played twice. Ever a guy named Kalen, an American, or no, Canadian, sorry, but he lived out in Seattle for a while, but from Vancouver, had his Golty stuff over in Australia and Brisbane, and he was always begging, barking to let's play some Golty, let's play some Golty. I think I let him at training on Slamtown once, and then the second time, and it's like, okay, it's kind of fun, but we're training for something totally different, so no. I've always thought of Goltimate as just the worst name in the business. Like, I already thought Ultimate is as bad as you can get to name a sport, and they've just used a portmanteau. They've used Woojin to make it worse. Goltimate, just by making it even less marketable than Ultimate is very difficult to do, but they have succeeded to that end. I'm glad you get to watch it, and I do recognize it as a sport with great transferable skills and like pretty cool deviation sport as well. Like I think it is good, but I can't say I give it much time of day to really yeah.
You're more of a shtick guy, Steph.
Yeah, give me some shtick any day of the week.
I'm heading back to the sands in Portimao, and we might get some shtick back out there. If you wanna tell the people a little bit about shtick.
You gotta shtick it in the box. That's why it's called shtick. Actually, I'm not sure, but 2 goals that are like squares of cones, a middle line, and when you're in the middle line, it divides the attacking zone from the defending zone. When you're in the defending zone, you can do whatever you want. Hold the disc, drop the disc, doesn't matter. Only people from your team can take it. Once you cross the line, you can run with the Frisbee, so it's totally bizarre. And then if you get tagged on the attacking side, you got to put it down, but essentially you got to run as close as you can to the goal so you can try and throw it in, land in, stay in, or, I mean, you can throw it from your side if you think you can get it to land in, stay in, and that's the basics of it, and it's wild. You can have 3-4 discs. A good game to get people comfortable with discs around them, like very beginnery game, but good game where you can go hard and be intense with a disc in hand,
and have like loads of people playing it as well. It's good for that. It's kind of capture the flag meets people, Ultimate. Yeah. Pretty sweet. Steph, today we're talking about EUCS, which is starting up this in April, pretty much, is our first spring tour events. I know I've got to get my master roster submitted for my team. The EUF have released who's taking part in all the tournaments in spring, elite, and summer tour across the year. We know that we've got a slightly pushed back EUCF this year, taking back place in Wroclaw once again from October 9th to 11th. It's obviously a year that's going to feel slightly different because of the World Ultimate Club Championship that maybe is the top prize for many teams, but not every team that is competitive in the EUCF qualified for the World Ultimate Club Championship, and many others could maybe sneak past and get a nice European title, whilst others might be focused world's way. We've got some predictions for you today.
We definitely
Steph.
do, Noah. I just want to add to it. I always find like the last World Clubs year was when Ranelagh won. That's when the whole tournament went topsy-turvy, when there was accusations of throwing games to avoid teams and all sorts in the open division. But a wild year, and I think we're going to get more of that. So we do have some predictions on tap. I think we should maybe start with some of the games that have already started, though. How's that sound to you, Noah? There was a tournament
go
last
for it.
weekend. Kia Ora from Rex, what up? In the chat. But the Gentle Open, as you know, Noah, and many might, I am working with Gentle Open team this year as a scout and a film analyst, as well as just general advising. Working with my good friend and colleague Ina Lankrit. They hosted their own tournament. They are en fuego to start this season. They beat Moon in a friendly the week before. And then this tournament, they had Fab, Jet Set, Mooncatchers, Ranelagh, Echo, Revolutionnaire, UFO, and then 2 under 20 teams from Netherlands and Belgium, and themselves, of course, Gentle. And, it didn't work out the way many people might have predicted. Certainly, if you are following the European champions, the current 2-time European champions, spoiler alert, but they were the 3rd best Belgian team there and did not medal. Would you have ever dreamed of picking that in this field?
I mean, it's early season, so we always got to discount a little bit, but there's 3 great Belgian teams all going to the World Championships. I'm not sure I would have put Moon last.
No chance would I have put them last. But, I guess it's one of those should we hit the panic button here kind of situations. Of course not. Like, it is early season. You're right. But it sucks to lose when you're an elite club. It sucks to lose unexpectedly when you're a championship club. It sucks to lose near home soil when you should be able to get the bulk of your crew there. I mean, that maybe applies a little bit less to Moon because of the amount of external players they have. So that may well have affected the roster. I did not get my report on exactly how thorough the roster was. I know Don wasn't there this time.
I think there's a little bit of excuse-making, reporting, perhaps in the Ulti World Discord in the European Open channel. Ravi saying Moon was Moon D-line and Moon 2 players only. Big Boy standing aside, giving the other players more reps with a larger role. And I think Pierre Alain comes in and kind of echoes that sentiment, and also gives an idea of what tournaments Moon will be counting for the EUCS rankings this year. This tournament was EUCS ranking. Moon weren't EUCS ranking because they had some of their Moon 2 players, their Eclipse players on it. I think the Gentle versus Frisbee's game is EUCS ranking. So you could see that with a 1 point. Both of them, yeah.
Yeah.
So what were the scores between those 2 games?
They were tight. I mean, the second one was Universe. At the end of the tournament, no, it wasn't. It was Universe. Hang on, Frisbee's Gentle.
Frisbee's Gentle. I believe it was Universe, right?
Yeah, it was Universe. It was 12-11. Gentle beat Frisbee's on Universe. So those 2 are hitting it out hard. I mean, we saw Frisbee's last year Belgian Open or Belgian Nationals, Noah, you and I, and they are super young, and they were great 7 months ago. They're going
talented.
They're going to be better. I would say that is a team to keep your eye on this year if they are going toe to toe with Gentle. Gentle had 3 of their 5 American pickups there, and now I've bit my tongue on saying who the rest were, but I was listening to the pod practice and Kins is blabbing, so I mean now it's public. We can blab, but it is 2 more of the Dig crew with Cole Brandt Davis and Brendan McCann, and then Orion Cable. So those 3 were there playing this week in Europe. So those of you who are saying, "Oh, pick up teams, pick up teams." These guys are in Belgium playing warm-up tournaments months and months prior to the season. Aiden Downey's the other one, and he is injured. He's broken his foot maybe a month ago. So, but he does anticipate that he will be strong and ready to play by the time Worlds comes along. And of course, they'll get Kins. He was not there. But they went undefeated through the tournament. They had a couple bumps along the way with they had the universe point against Frisbees, as I said, but they also had a universe point against Echo. What do you know about Echo, Noah?
I mean, it's the Vienna combo team, right? It's like the big, easy, and forward combo between those ones. So trying to like coalesce talent there a little bit.
Yeah, and like Echo went universe with Gentle, but then the 13-12, but then they also went universe with Belgium under 20 and Belgium under 21. And so I was like, what's going on over here? What happened in that game? And I was like, I hope you're playing with the lines. And she just gave me a monkey eye closed emoji as a response. So they were definitely messing with the lines. But I think a lot of these teams early season, you can get hot, you can stay hot, but more so you can get cold and stay cold if you're trying to work some things out and they're just not gluing together and you're trying to do what coach says. But at the same time, everybody always does want to win their game, win their matchup, win their one-on-ones. So, yeah.
That Stef or the Belgian U20s are a great side, and we should watch out for them in the Garnier. I mean, they came the middle of this tournament, 6 out of 11, something like that. So, I mean, there's plenty of pretty good European teams that they did manage to beat at the tournament. Fifth,
they beat Fab, they beat Echo, they beat UFO, they beat Jet Set, they beat Révolutionnaire. Those are 5 senior elite level teams. And the only teams they finished behind were the medalists and Mooncatchers, the European champions.
Yeah,
I would say look the hell out for the Belgian under 20s is fair to say. So Moon ended up going down to Ranelagh in the semi. That was a universe point game. Gentle knocked off Frisbees a little more comfy that time by 3. And then Gentle absolutely roasted Ranelagh in the final. I got to think that Ranelagh ran out of steam or had players leaving to catch flights or something, but getting beat by 10 in the final. Again, rep tournament. It's about getting your reps, but once you get to a final, same thing. Finish the job kind of starts to take over in your mindset rather than one more rep or change the lines again or whatever coach's orders are.
I want to ask you a bit of a broader question about this tournament, about the season coming up ahead, Stef. It's interesting that let's go to this. In the Europe Open channel, Pierre Hollande says that the Moon will be rostering for all of these and playing Amsterdam invite, Tom's Elite invite, Heidelberg invite, and Moon invite, as well as Gentle Open as well. I mean, a lot of tournaments there, right, which are kind of smaller club-run tournaments. You have to imagine Amsterdam invite there, Heidelberg invite in a way, Moon invite, Gentle Open. Is it a thing that's happening in the space that's changing with these EUCS tournaments? They're all going on, the summers and spring tours, as well as Windmill not drawing Clapham or Mooncatchers or many of the other top European teams this year. Are teams kind of retreating to the small open invite tournaments, or am I reading too much into it and it's more of a WUC only thing?
I think it's a WUC year thing where it's it's going to be a combo WUC and the EUCS qualifying. Easy reps to get your games in is a great thing. The more opportunities you have, these, family-run tournaments. They cost less. There's less bells and whistles. People show up. Usually there's an accommodation option that makes it easy. There's less teams to accommodate. So the home team can, do a better job of hosting. So it's cheaper, easier. They usually pick the places that are close. But I think another big thing is it's not streamed. And in every other year, people are dying. They want to be on stream. And for the 3-4 months before WCC, especially when you're in US or Europe where you can be so easily scouted, I think a lot of these teams are more than happy to reduce their exposure and give the oppositions less of a chance to kind of pick them apart and have a better chance of chopping them down.
I mean, it's not ideal for us, is it, at all? We would love to be streaming these teams. We would love to be watching these teams. I think in an ideal world that there are tournaments that are so rich and compelling that they draw the teams and the teams kind of bear with the fact that they're going to get streamed. I understand that's not what's happening this year, and I understand why the teams are doing that. I think it's also with these smaller tournaments, teams really get to control exactly which teams they're playing, and have a little look at a list of opposition and see if they want to get those reps or see if they want to go somewhere else and get something else, as well as cost as well. Like WUC is going to be expensive. Limerick accommodation is filling up.
If you go WUC, Tom's, Windmill, London Invite, and you go every single big hitter, you're just doubling and tripling. You got to get to some of those tournaments. You do want the big exposure. You want the chance to win a big tournament and to travel deep into a big tournament. You want that, but maybe once instead of twice or thrice over the course of a season. I know thrice is not accurate, but no, we better get into our predictions or we're going to run out of time. We're talking
Elite
EUCS
invite to start.
Season.
Yeah.
Huh?
There's a big hitter, Elite invite.
Elite invite. So we're going to go Elite invite. We're going to talk about the teams that we think will have the greatest rise. So we'll call them risers, the biggest boost in rankings from where they were last year. We're going to talk about our droppers, so teams that did decent last year, but we suspect will plummet. And, of course, we'll predict for the very end of the season EUCF. Let's start Elite Invite. Noah, why don't you kick things off? Open Division champion for the Elite Invite. Who do you got?
I'm taking to start here Mooncatchers. It's a close tournament. Leuven, they're one of the, if not close, the closest teams here. I think it's worthwhile to try and they're probably going to be a tournament where they're targeting bringing in their external players, maybe even including Thomas Edmonds. Hopefully, it's far enough out of the AUDL season, UFA season, sorry, at the end of May. I mean, they are the strong. I don't think I need to justify it too much, as they are probably the consensus number one strongest team in Europe right now.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Clapham, in fact. And I think they have been the bridesmaid for a couple seasons. They didn't make the final last year. This is a WCC season for them. This will be their biggest prep tournament, I think. They have London Invite the week before, and that's a tough one. 1 week before I'm to peak for a tournament before. This will certainly be what they want. They don't have any external players, and hopefully they don't have a wedding this time. And I think they're going to have just enough under the skin to push through and get the dub there. I think this is a big one on their season list. I could be wrong, but that's my pick.
I mean, one of the reasons I didn't go Clapham, I mean, one, you have to look at that with them not having the external picks that external pickups just mean they don't have external pickups making their squad better. So, I mean, they may suffer this year. Another reason, I don't think they're going to Tom's tourney. I think it's Clapham Masters are going to Tom's tourney exclusively. And that will mean that Elite Invite might be their kind of first run around as a team. Kind of discounted clap them a little bit or took them a little bit
Fair.
down on my probabilities. We move on to women's. Who have you got there, Steph?
Yeah, women's, I am going to go with the two-time bridesmaid from the last two EUCFs as well. And I do see them peaking early this year. They've got all sorts of external talent, but external in Europe that are very much part of their team. I see Moon Cup taking the elite invite and getting what I believe will be their first major tournament win. I'm sure they've won a tournament, but I don't know if I've seen them win a major tournament. So I'm giving my pick for elite invite to Moon Cup. Who do you got?
That Steph was probably my second choice there, so I think that's a great pick. I'm gonna go Hut. I think the people are a little bit low on them. They had a rough EUCF last year, but right up until EUCF, they were the consensus the strongest team in Europe, and it's a close by tournament. They've got loads of great elite players. I'm gonna pick it.
All right, I like it. Mixed division, elite invite. You go ahead and go first. Who you got?
I am going to go back to the stalwart kind of leaders in the mixed division and say that Deep Space are going to take this one. I like the movements they've made in the off season. I've heard they've picked up Sam Wilson, who is probably Reading's one of their best male matching players, and they've picked up Rupal Galani, who is one of the most dynamic, interesting players in the UK. Elusive hasn't played much club recently, but yeah, I think she is still like locked in, getting a bit of ultimate reps. She's still like super fit and ready to run around and jump like crazy, like totally been on the lifting weights, CrossFit, all that kind of stuff. I think she's going to add a great level of like defense, tenacity, big playmaking to their game, and maybe hope they take back the pole position from Mosquitoes.
Okay, well, I'm going to say that it's going to be Mosquitoes who take this the start of the season. They're getting in their Excel Ultimate training sessions, clinics in. I think they're going to pick up where they left off. I don't know if they've got the pedigree to do the whole season again, but I do think they're going to be coming out of the gate strong. And I do think that they will have a more polished team earlier in the season than others. So I'm going to take Mosquitoes to be able to defend their EUCF title at Elite Invite. So they're not defending their championship. They're going into Elite as the number one invited team, and they're going to take the dub there. So I
like it.
That's how I like it. I didn't know Rupal was going to Deep Space. That's a big pickup. Next, we got, what are we talking? Risers. So teams that were a little bit caca last year, or, maybe not as good as they could have been, that will have a better outing this time. Noah and I discussed the order of this. We're gonna do Elite Invite. We'll do Risers, then we'll do Droppers, then we'll do EUCF for last. We'll save that for last. So, first in the open division, Noah, you want me or you want it?
You got it.
Okay, so I got two teams, and if I gotta pick, oh my god, I wonder if they're the same two teams. So one is like last year's number one seed who absolutely did a French caca at EUCF. They cannot do as bad. They've got a documentary being made about them. I mean, but when Germany Mixed had their documentary, they did not have a good season. So let's see if the Doco curse holds them back. But Czech, they're too good to be that bad again. They got way too many good players to do that. A couple of them are over in the UFA, so who knows? But the other one is who we were just talking about from the Gentle Invite, who were not in it last year. They didn't make it. They've made Worlds. They're training for Worlds, and they're strong as heck. Is Frisbees. I think they're going to bound onto the scene And no, are you shaking your head because you get the same too?
No, I've
No?
actually got two different ones.
Well, why are you shaking your head then?
I think there's one that is just you have to pick, right? Well, Chak, I haven't got Chak down. I did consider Chak. They would be kind of my third choice. I think they're a little obvious, so I almost avoided those. But I actually think there's one that's an even better, will rise more spaces in the rankings and finishing than Chak even.
Who you got?
My kind of runner-up is Quixotes, who did not qualify last year. I think, we've seen the strength of Spanish Ultimate. We feel like we've personally, together, Stef, streamed a lot of Spanish Ultimate recently. They've got great players.
Hang on a minute. Are they shipping in sand for EUCF?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure they are. I'm not sure they are, Steph. But 2 EUCFs ago, EUCF 2024, they beat Clapham, right?
In a tornado.
Yeah, in a tornado with for a country that's not very much known good for playing in the wind. I think it's a great shout. I think if you look where they are in the rankings from last year, it's probably going to be way down in the 20s or 30s. Just making it in a bottom 8 finish at UCF.
And they got Buja.
Could predict shift. And they got Buja this year, right?
They did have him for parts of last year too. I like it, but I still think Chak is more obvious than that one. Go on.
Okay, let me sell you on the second one.
Yeah, hit me.
Gentle.
Oh
Gentle didn't qualify last year. Steph. They came 18th.
They qualified for EUCF. Oh no, they didn't even qualify.
No, they didn't. They came 17th in the rankings. They screwed themselves, had a bad summer tour, knocked themselves out of the rankings.
Well,
Steph, I think that Chak and Gentle, maybe we expect them to finish kind of similarly at UCF, maybe Gentle slightly higher if they manage to retain some of those American pickups all the way into the postseason for EUCF. And they have a long way to rise. I think.
I love
Open,
that
there's
pick,
a big
obviously.
crop.
And I should smack my head against something hard for not have picked that. But I'm pretty happy with mine, and I see your Quixotes too. It's not audacious by any stretch. All right, next division we got women. Who do you got?
I think this one was a tricky one. I had to look through quite a lot. I've also gone with another team that weren't represented at UCF last year because I didn't love all of the options I had at UCF. I didn't see loads of teams in the 9-16 bracket that I thought could really push past about 5 or 6, where it really seems like those top women's teams have separated themselves in a way. So I've gone Kafum Orebro. I think that they're going to spring and summer tour. They're going to get enough games in this year if they manage to make those spots. They've been very strong indoors for the season. I think that Swedish Ultimate has had a bit of a resurgence, and Kafum Orebro in the Open division last year got themselves a 9th place finish and secured themselves an elite invite spot. So I think if we can see a similar echoing on the women's side, that could be a nice little riser for the 2026 season.
All right, I did stay in the top 8 bracket and picked the team that I thought had the toughest luck, and it wasn't Groot. They had tough-ish luck, but I thought Jinx coming 7th was just far lower than their potential. I don't know if I think they're gonna win EUCF. I think they're gonna medal, or I think they should still be in the medaling conversation. They are too good not to be in that conversation. That could only get me 4 or 5 spots at best, 6 at best.
I think it's a smart way to go, though, Steph. They're definitely a team that you would not look twice at than getting a silver or a bronze medal. Yeah, the gold might be maybe slightly shocking, but I mean they're a fantastic team.
And they could pull off the gold. There's a team that for last year and the year before, I mean in Ostend they were the favorites, and they got the rug pulled under them in the semi, and they haven't quite recovered, but. That's often the teams that are doing it. It seems are the teams that had their chance a year or two ago. People just forgot about them, and then that's when they come and get it done. Let's go mixed risers. I'll give you mine first. A team that we saw at their own national championship take the win. They made EUCF last year. They were low-ish in the standings. They were still in the bottom. The 9-16 bracket. They ended up 15th, in fact. But I think they're putting in, they seem to be putting a lot into the program. They got a lot of great players, mostly on the women's side. But ZU Mixed is who I'm taking to, bring it up from 15th. I hope that they get in the top 8, and I get at least an 8-point jump out of it.
I like it. It's a great move. I think especially if, there's been some movement from that ZU Mixed team over to the US, to the Asheville team. Maybe we see a little bit of US movement back to ZU as well. I think that's a great pick, Steph. They could easily get into top 8. I have continued my strategy of picking outside of EUCF for this mixed division. And I've gone with Guayota, who did not qualify last year. I think that last year they focused a little bit more on the World Beach Ultimate Championships. But on the grass, they managed to win Windmill. I know it's a reduced Windmill field, but like Steph, I think we both agree that these players are very, 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 very talented. Picking big on Spanish Ultimate again. And I love the amount this team could rise. They are going to spring and summer tour. I think they've got the easiest spring going to Grenoble instead of Padover. I think they've got one of the easiest summer tours too, at least not the hardest summer tours. I think they're gonna if they attend, they should qualify and finish pretty highly at those events and qualify for the EUCF. Then can they push into the top 8?
Noah, that's good. We're gonna take a break here. And we'll come back with more predictions, our droppers and our EUCF. So don't you go anywhere. We'll be right back.
So we're making a documentary about Davide.
A Garibaldi man is someone who wants to do what he wants to reach the goal. He don't care too much about the rule.
He's one of the more passionate players.
He named himself Il Migliore, the best.
He hasn't a good self-control.
I'm one of the few that can really disagree with him in front of the other.
1, it was a 3, 2, vaffanculo.
Such a character in the sport. You can't have a passing conversation with. If you say hello, you're there for 15 minutes.
We all play Frisbee in this family.
It's nice. I like it.
His reaction, that probably everybody knows.
Non è nel chiuso! Lo prendo qui a zip, voglio darlo nel chiuso!
It's not how I would approach a moment in a game.
It's aggression and barreled chest and the...
Ma cosa lo dai sulla linea fare? Che cappella!
Only in the mixed division, then you go into the women's division as a coach, and it is a major level of intimidation.
He cannot act due to the basic rules of spirit of the game.
No, this is a non-contact sport, and Davide...
You would think it's American football.
I'm not a saint. I also have done in my career bad call, reaction call.
He's definitely upset players. People have criticized him, how he talked to his players at times.
Lo vedi il punteggio? Lo capisci cosa valgono i punti?
Teams have tried to get Davide suspended from tournaments to get him out of sight.
That's something he's had to carry. He has that target on his back.
Davide Mori is going to have a hernia!
The whole Ultimate community owes him a lot, particularly the Italian community. He led Bologna from nothing to European champion.
I'm Stef Pazzo, and I must eat.
Sometimes commentator, sometimes food eater.
On my ultimate travels in 2023, I sampled culinary classics from all across Europe.
Oh, wow.
Guided by some of your favorite ultimate players.
That's the Dutch hospitality for you right there.
I'll give you an insight into the secret spots that only the locals know of.
Are these the best schnitzels in Vienna?
Yes, of course.
Yes, of course.
You'll find Stef Pazzo on YouTube. Like and subscribe and follow the European Ultimate Must Eat series.
Always on the move? You can keep up to date with ULTI.TV on all of our social media channels. Like, follow, subscribe, share us with a friend, or send us a message just to say hey. Thank you for supporting us in our mission to grow Ultimate everywhere.
Welcome back to Shot for Goal, a little prediction show for the 2026 season. And wait a minute. What's that? We've got breaking news. Let's throw it over.
Good evening, good afternoon, good morning. Happy time zone, sports fans. Benjiris with the latest breaking news update for you. We have the 4 latest names signed up to the VC Super Team for you, and they have continued to scour the globe in search of talent. Luce Copian, Sophie Bontemps, Kate Gibson and Orion Cable, the latest fabulous foursome to be joining the squad this season. Quite a diverse mix of players in there with a number of tools to their locker. Some maybe more established names than the others, but I think certainly for fearsome names in Luce Copians, you have a player who has demonstrated their competent, more than competent, incredible ability on the beach with semi-final runs, both last year at WBUC with Belgium and, of course, the year before as part of that upstart Tarijas outfit. You've got Sophie Bontemps, who has ballooned himself into one of the best players in the world since that breakout at EUIC, 4 years ago at this point. Just continues to go from strength to strength, playing, of course, with Mooncatchers and then making the switch stateside to play with Machine last year. Kate Gibson, without a doubt, one of the best players in the UK, so versatile, an absolute workhorse, played in both the women's and in the mixed division where she's racked up EUCF gold with Deep Space, certainly a key player to add. And then there's a lot of size and physicality on this super team roster. Orion Cable is no different. That man is an absolute dog, and you can bet you can see him stretching the field both with and without the disc.
There we have it, Ben. Thank you very much for the breaking news update. A new 4-pack of players that puts us to 14 now. I can tell you that it is a 16-player roster, so still 2 remaining. They have been selected. There's a few people in the Instagram channel putting their hands up and how do I get on this team and pick me.
I think the answer is you don't at this point.
Yeah, you watch it, but there is a team that you can be on, and we'll get back to that QR code at the end. But let's have our collective thoughts again. Luce Copians. Noah, let's have your thoughts first. I know we both watched her at Belgian Nationals this year, and she was awesome, but I'll let you express first.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting to see the super team going the route of a full receiver core here. An interesting strategy to get everyone to rush straight to the end zone and then chuck a big hammer over the top. I think I've seen some super teams try that one before as well. I mean, Copians we saw on the beach, was it catch of the year, or block of the year?
Catch right there.
Oh, huge block.
It's filthy.
But we've also seen a Belgian national, Stef, where playing and just kind of carrying, getting and playing an every other touch kind of role, playing massive as a receiver, but handling too. I think a player with a lot of skills, lots of versatility. Interesting to see her come onto this kind of premier elite team, and I think she has all the skill set to fit in as a great defender and great receiver.
I think she's maybe a bit less heralded and decorated than some of the other athletes. Certainly not a big name, as big a name at least, but so much potential. I mean, the ceiling for Luce is so high. And given how we've seen the makeup of the super team coaching staff in previous seasons, it would not surprise me if they've maybe been, nudging Steph a little bit in the ribs and leaning in and being like, you should have a look.
You might not be wrong about that. I'm not going to totally lift the veil up for it, but you seem to know what you're talking about, Benji, with frequency. And Luce is just an athlete. And I will defend myself against what Noah said, is that we just get a whole bunch of cutters cutting deep. They're all... I think there are handlers, but I do believe that a lot of these players, especially Luce in this situation, is somebody who on her home club team is a do-it-all kind of player, as we've also said, who does have to get every second touch it from time to time, who does open up the arm and can have great distribution. But, I mean, I think her shining strength as a young player, is her athleticism. She can just move. She's got agility, and boy, can she ever fly. And that's what we're going to hope to see a whole lot of on both sides of the disc. Let's move over to Soph. Benj, any further thoughts on the... is he a young man still? I think he's almost in his prime.
The thing is, it depends like when you consider a player's prime to be. Like, he's been around for a number of years at this point, but you remember, he was playing under 24s last year, so he's, in other sports you say maybe athletes don't peak until their later 20s, so he's still got so much growing to do as well. Not to say that he's basically not already at the top level. I love watching him play. Defensively, he will fly all over the field. As you've seen, he's got a really wide array of shots, but he picks them at the right times as well. He plays with fire, with a bit of edge, which is great. He's a brilliant receiver, plays bigger than his size. I mean, he's just an absolute monster. I love watching him. He's one of my favorite players in the sport to cover.
Yeah, love it too. No.
Yeah, I mean, to counter my receiver narrative, if you've seen some Chicago Machine this year, you'll see how well he can like grease the wheels of an O-line of just getting touches everywhere and unleashing like McGuckin to go and be the pure premier deep receiver. Has a real expansive throws like many of the Belgian players do, which are going to come handy on the beach too.
I've just loved watching his way up and being the youngster and a role player and taking bigger roles and being a defender and being a receiver and being relied on. He's won in the big games at WBUCC with Jet Set. He was unbelievable, winning with Belgium at EUC. He was incredible on a team where they had, they're packed with stars, with Mooncatchers, packed with stars. And, he doesn't have to be the best every game, but he's never going to let you down. And from game to game can always end up being the best. And I think Soph is just unlimited potential and so good at limiting error or poor performance.
I think that's one of the great things about him is that he does have such a high ceiling skill set, but his floor is also very high. It's so rare that you see him have an off game. Most of the best players in the world will accept that you can't be at your best in every game, right? But not all of them, when they're not at their best, can still go out there and be as effective as he is.
Yeah, let's talk Kate Gibson here. Noah, we'll chuck it over to you first. Thoughts on the Kate Gibson selection?
I think a first super team appearance for a female matching player from the UK. It's long overdue. I think Kate's been one of the best defenders in the UK and is pretty damn good with the disc as well. I love that she's got experience both in mixed with Deep Space last year, playing a bit of a role, being a standout defender there, and then also going over and playing women's here with, you can see with the women's beach national team last year, as well with Spice, where like we were saying about Kopians, is getting every other pass in a kind of dominator style offense. Really talented player.
You talked about how there's a lot of size on Super Team, and they're often, why would you throw loads of shorter passes when you can just go to the end zone in one and have big people bring it down? And I get that, but Kate Gibson's a player who has played a lot more of the small ball style, movement, motion style offense. And so actually, if you want a different string to your bow, you can put her out there and say, just keep the disc moving, go to work, and use that first step quickness to beat people.
Yeah, I like Kate Gibson's toughness and her grindability. She's got her nose to the grindstone every time she's on the field. It seems, D-lining for the better part of the GB campaign on the beach. It was just the engine for conversions for the break line. 11 assists, no goals. She's chasing pulls and playing D, and when needed is there to run the offense, to run the conversion line. But it's just I feel like she is in there to do the hard yards and does those hard yards as good as any. And I've been very impressed with seeing her and look forward to seeing her meld into this team.
Yeah, she'll get your blocks, and they won't necessarily always be highlight reel blocks, but they'll be blocks just from running someone down and showing that hustle and intensity that people can't always keep up with if you just go out there cut after cut and keep covering it. Eventually someone tires and you can find yourself in front, and they're not as splashy, but they're just as important.
Yeah, Benji, give us a bit more about the big man, Orion Cable.
He's a big dude. Like, obviously, I'm not a big dude, right? So me saying someone's tall and big and physical is not necessarily talking too much, but he's one of the players where, like, you see him out there and it's like, that is a grown man. And that was true even 4 years ago when he was when he first came over to Europe, playing with BFD Lafota for that campaign. As you can see there, he's playing gentle this season, but he's been huge for Dig, for Boston Glory, who the champions in the fake Frisbee League. Like, he is just a monster, but he actually, I think you'll see a lot here. He's making some, crazy athletic physical plays, and a lot of the time as well, you can see, like this one here, that's a really good example of making a seriously good bid. Not just like, he came, he got the block, whatever, but he didn't make contact there. He made it clean as well. And you love players who have that body control so they can go out there and get blocks and not, give away freebie fouls.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, he has some of the most impressive blocks in the game ever recorded. Absolutely huge unit. Is going to be real difficult to compete with in the air. On the beach, when, getting off the ground is so much more of a challenge.
Yeah, that's the one thing that interests me, is seeing how he does on the beach, because that's one of the areas where I've not seen it. So that is, I'll put it as a question mark, but not like a doubting one. Like I'm intrigued.
I think that's fair. I've not seen much out of him on the beach. I know he has played some beach ultimate. It will not be his first time on the sand, but it's not where he has played the bulk of it. But he's a straight monster. I mean, the first time I saw him live was Lafota versus Is No Good, first game of WUCC Cincinnati, and the block he got over the back of I think it was Tim. Anyway, it was another one of these one. Like, it's very similar, but like watching it up, like, and just feeling the vibration of him hitting the ground after he does it was just like, you're like, who is this monster?
Tim Shock's not a small dude either.
No, and since then he just leaps and bounds. I look forward to comparing whole rosters, Bling and Super Team and the rest, and see how these all stack up. But yeah, I guess you guys have started to notice we do have some size on this roster, and Orion certainly adds to that.
I mean, never hurts, as you mentioned, on the beach where it can be tougher to get on the sand. Having that extra size and physicality is never a bad thing. Also crazy to me with all the talent that Dig flamed out of US Nationals last year, and I know we're going over old ground there, but come on, like, you look at the roster and it's more than capable of being up there. And yeah, he on gentle this year, when you've got some of those splash players, yikes.
Yeah,
that's kind of terrifying.
Yikes indeed. We will see how the fit works. We'll be watching him through the season. Benj, we're going to bid you adieu for today. Thank you for your breaking news once again. We'll assume that we might see you again next week.
I mean, there's only 2 names next week, potentially, if there's only 2 players left, right? So I've got to work twice as hard to find out who they are.
Yeah.
So,
exactly.
We'll see.
There could be like an administrative announcement as well. You never know.
I hadn't thought about that.
So, Benj, you never know what you're going to get. But in any sense, we'll look forward to seeing you. And thank you very much for joining and for the info once again.
Take care.
Thanks, as always, to the unlimited well of ultimate knowledge, Benji Reese. Noah, it's exciting stuff, but we are going to get straight back into our discussion from whence we left off. We are at, you had great risers. I loved the Guayota pick in mixed, but now let's talk droppers. Teams
this was tough. This was tough.
This is the ones that these teams are going to be tagging us for sure, because this is the opposite of giving some love. And it's tough. They're tough picks. I mean, one was easy for me, just because they're easy to pick on.
Wait. In which division?
Open.
No. Oh. Yeah, there might be a team in open division that I picked. You want to do it on three?
Yeah. Three, two, one. Bristol. The Rats. The easiest team to pick on in Europe, perhaps? Did they legit overachieve last year? Or I mean, they are good. We like to have a poke. They won.
We've just got to minimize the teams we've got.
But they did win that bottom pool. Like they got 9th place. They achieved.
No, they got 10th.
They got 10th.
Kafum. It was Kafum Orbito won the 9th. But like 10th was a great finish. I agree with the point you're making. They had a surprise entry to EUCF. They had a surprise performance in EUCF to, they beat a team like Czech who came 15th. I mean, who else were you considering ahead here? I looked at the top 8. I did think Chevy perhaps with a 4th place finish is perhaps a little bit better than they expect, but then am I betting more that Chevy finish outside the top 8, which is rare. They're usually around that 5-8 bracket, or that Bristol don't qualify.
I don't see Chevy falling off that much. I feel like they're going to be in quarters again. The only two teams that I would bet won't be in quarters, and it's very likely that, it won't be the other 6 as well. There's always something that happens, but are the 2 bottom teams, and that was Costa Rica and Bad Skid. And they were 2 teams that I did consider, but them dropping further than Bristol, I just can't see it. I think like having 2 or 3 places ahead of Bristol, I think they are 2 or 3 places better than Bristol. So Bristol, we're giving it to you early this season.
Get the clips out, baby.
Let's talk women.
Yeah, I a little bit of a different approach to me. I was picking picking a little bit further down UCF. I've got someone quite near the top for a dropper. Maybe slightly controversial. I don't know. I think you might agree with me, though, Steph.
I bet you're going to have the same team again. I bet you're going to have the same team. Should we count?
You want to do a 3-2-1?
Yeah. 3,
2, 1.
Tequila
Yaka.
Yaka. All right.
Interesting. No, I'm like...
But controversy with both of these, I think. But I'll let you talk about Yaka first and why you picked them.
I mean, you look at the roster and you're like, wow, all of these players are great. And French women have been great. But third is like so high, and I struggle to see them being, as good as Shout, Jinx, Rut, Moon Cup. I think I'm pretty confident that they fall. I don't think they're going to fall big time. But 2024 UCF, they were right down the bottom. They were, 10th place or below. I think around like 12th, 13th in that year. I think it was a tough pick, and I'm kind of expecting them to drop down to maybe 7th, maybe 8th place. I'm hoping that some of these great Yaka players are tempted by the allure of Moon Cup. We know how much the Belgians love to pick up players, and there's some French players who have already moved in that direction. It's not massive distance to cover, and to have a better team, I think in a WUC year that I think maybe people might be wanting to make that change and then would just hurt Yaka a bit. But Steph, I have to be honest, if I could switch now, I maybe would. This Tequila Boom Boom is a good pick here.
I mean, they were 3 and 4. Tequila Boom Boom and Yaka, though, similar placing last year, but absolute opposite in directions they're going. So it's tough for me to say this upstart team with youth and vitality was just lucky last year, and they're not just getting better. And saying lucky is horrible. They were not lucky. They are a very good team. But they went on one hell of a run. They turned a whole lot of heads, and they probably won a game or two on that run by a little bit of surprise, by a little overestimating. Can they get away with that next year now that they'll have, a bit more of a target on their back? They're semifinalists from EUCF. Will they get the retention of those players? That is a likelihood. It's a young, very homegrown team. They're probably going to keep them, but I think it's going to be tooth and nail if they are staying in quarters. There's a lot of teams that finished beneath them in the top 8 that I think are better, and a handful that were in the 9 to 16 that I think would love to have another crack at them and could well knock them off if they get that chance. Right at the top 3, SB, Bristol, Fabulous, Smog, like all of these teams, I feel like can roll with Tequila Boom Boom. But hey, prove me wrong, Tequila Boom Boom. Just confirmed we've got Nicole Lafayette as our guest next week.
Whoops. I'll bring up that she was EUCF's top statter last year. So
she'll be on next week to talk Paganello. For sure.
Very exciting.
So we won't be mentioning my droppers pick at all to her when she's on, Noah.
I don't know if I can confirm that. Maybe I can pay off the grab car producer to chuck something in, and then I'll keep myself quiet. But I really do think that this Tequila Boom Boom team is going to need to strengthen their roster, right, to have a chance of hanging up here within the top 5 in the women's division. Can they do that? We'll see. It's a
what
luck
I want to
year.
see is Moon Cup eventually win one, so that Lagala can go back to Rimini and play there. I don't know if she would, but and she lives in Bologna now, not Rimini, but that would be a nice return one day, and I think that would be a heck of a power up.
Would be a huge power up as well.
Okay, mixed droppers.
I actually thought this one was the easiest.
I made my pick
3.
based on what you told me, things that you've told me about the UK scene. So I bet you. Okay, so we can have another countdown here, Noah.
Well, 3, 2.
Hang on, is yours a UK team?
We'll see.
Okay.
3, 2, 1. Disconnection.
Reading.
Look, Reading is instantly where my head went for this droppers. They seem to be losing a lot of big talent. So 6 big names apparently moving to RU2. That's Mark Bignall, Joe Brown, Pepe, Sam Wilson's gone deep space way, lost MMP in Ryan Coombs. And then on the film matching side, Sarah Jeffries and Nicole Lester. I mean, Steph, that's like maybe all of those players are in their top.
To RU2.
To RU2. To Reading 2.
Why?
I mean, I think that there was. That is. I think I'm pushing the boat. I'm pushing the boat to say exactly those names. So I'm not going to say much more than that. But yeah, I think there's some internal team politics going on. We're pretty scared of RU2 this year. Like, that's a good roster already. Look, RU have still got great players. They've brought in some great players. They're still going to have Andy Lewis. They're still going to have Hannah Brew. Still going to have Hoagie. Steph, the main reason I didn't pick them is they finished 13th at EUCF last year. I just struggle to see them dropping. That's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, Steph, my team comes like 17th or 20th in these rankings. I can't even really see them not making UCF with this new roster. I think they come in a similar space.
For me, which I love and appreciate. Now tell me why you think Disconnection is going to slip.
Well, you could have a go at it if you want.
Disconnection. I'll let you keep rolling because I'm not sure why I think, unless you know something I don't. I don't know why it would be obvious that Disconnection, they were 4th last year. Who are they losing?
Okay, so one, I think there is a separation between the top 3 and then kind of challenges everyone else, right? In mixed, I think that the TFC Tauscher, that Mosquitoes, and that Deep Space have separated themselves on another field. I think the Disconnection aren't that team. Like, I don't think they quite have the talent. If they won a UCF, it would be a massive shock. And they've got a long way to drop coming from 4th position. Okay, more things. Disconnection did not get a WUC bid this year, and I think that's going to be tough for player retention. It's going to be tough for to build momentum behind the season. It was Zampel who took the second bid, as well as TFC Tausche for German mixed teams. So yeah, they miss out on WUC this year, and I do think it's going to hurt player retention. And we're looking in that direction. Their top starter from EUCF, Philip Kitchen, has shown up on the Mosquitoes roster alongside Miriam Forster. So that's two of their top players on the male matching, female matching side, leaving the team. I'll be honest, the last thing is that eye test, Steph. I think they've gotten better as time's gone on. As I've played against them, I've respected their game a little bit more and understood how they play and how that elevates them to the top. But I think they play quite a slow game. I think it's quite static. I think it doesn't really meet the demands of the modern elite game. And I feel pretty confident about this pick.
All right, I'll let you have it. I don't hate it. I saw Kitchen move. There's two Forsters, though. I think it was Mareka Forster on Disconnection last year. So, anyways, they may have lost one, maybe two. Not a what year? I'll take it. I could still see Reading slipping further from 13 than Disconnection from 4th, but we'll revisit this at the end of the year. EUCF champions. Dun, 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 dun. Open division. I'll let you go first, No. Who do you got?
Okay. I've got a team we've talked about quite a lot this podcast. I think you're going to be pretty happy with me, Steph.
Well, I've got that team too, then.
Okay, 3, 2, 1. Gentle.
Yes. The team of the future.
The team of the future. I love that Lander's getting UFA reps this year. I think Toba, we might come out 2026 saying he's the best player in the world. Who knows? Like, he was UFA MVP. I think his work ethic is insane. He's younger than Dan. I think he's already around the 5 or 6 in that conversation. He's playing for this fantastic UFA team. He's playing for this fantastic US club team. He's got all of these reps with Gentle being the main man, as well as getting all of these international players in. Lander's getting all those reps as well, and has been playing absolutely phenomenally recently. They're bringing in the likes of Cable. They're bringing in Kins. Yeah, I just see a little bit of a fairy tale story that they can't do it at Belgian Nationals, but when they turn up to UCF, maybe a team that isn't really targeting a WUC win in the way that Mooncatchers are, and can really still focus about UCF, won a rebound off a poor season last time. Gentle could be a champion.
I like it. And I think the other thing is what people blast a team that takes pickups for is their inability to integrate their locals. I think that's the exact opposite. Yes, they have 5 players who are from afar. Those players are well integrated as far as external players go. Their depth of local players is phenomenal. The young players in Ghent are awesome. There's so many of them. They can do so much. They're big dudes. They can throw. They've got the throwing prowess is incredible. But the lines are being played with all over the place right now. But and this is the first year Gentle's had external coaching, and they got one of the best coaches in the business. And yeah, I like it. I'm surprised that you picked it, or maybe not. I guess great minds think.
I kind of expected you might pick it as well. So I mean, I'm picking it as a little bit of an upset. I think we both are to a certain extent.
All right, let's go women. Who do you got?
I'm gonna take.
Hang on, should we just count them all down at this stage?
Let's count them all down.
All right,
3.
You're the counter.
3, 2, 1. Moon
Groot. All right.
So we flipped around, right? We flipped round. You think that it's...
Yes, exactly.
Because you went Moon Cup for elite, and I went for elite. We're flipping round for UCF. Moon Cup, second place. You said this when we talked about elite. Second place at UCF twice. I think it seems like an exciting team to play for. It seems like where the young talent is going. It almost seems like, a big wave has come down and crashed down on the ocean. And everyone's gone for that one. Everyone started paddling for that one. And then this big Moon Cup wave is on the horizon and coalescing even more talent. Yeah, I think it could be their year after 2 second place finishes.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to mess with them, but I think Groot is also they're not even, defending champs and then slipping out to fifth. They're going to be pissed all season. If they stay healthy, I still think they got the top 7. Do I doubt their depth? No. I don't know if they got as good a depth as Moon Cup. I think Moon Cup from top to bottom got a bit more depth, but I think top 7, even top 10 on Groot, they're the best team in that department. And I think if they stay healthy and they get on the same page all season long, they'll be able to use their top players to get over the hump when push comes to shove. And
What about their top 1, Steph? Who do you have as who's the best player between these teams?
Between Moon Cup and Groot? I mean, Lizon and Lagala versus Floor and Lola is still the top 2. I think Aurora's right there for 3. I think, you can... There's great talent, but I still think if Floor is... when Floor is on, I think she can be the most on.
Yeah, I think I'm real close between Floor and Lagala. I think I just edged top 1 is Lagala on this team, and this is one of the reasons I pushed.
See, I probably just take Lizon over Lagala the tiniest bit. But okay, go on, explain.
So close. They're all top 6, and I think one of the reasons I like Moon Cup is I like the way they kind of build from the back a little bit more, that they really utilize their top players. I think the density of the touches for the top players is a little bit higher for the Moon Cup team. Yeah, and I don't even know if I agree. I think that I like the Groot depth a little bit more. But I think I like the Moon Cup top end, and I like the way, the style they play. I think they build more from the back, and they don't stretch the field quite so far player-wise, whereas Groot are really trying for those big downfield passes a little bit more. And I kind of think that stylistically, Moon Cup might come out ahead just about, but we both love both of these teams, Steph. We've picked them 1-1 across the 2 tournaments, so I think we're pretty split.
Yeah, and it's definitely not a 2-horse race in the women's division.
Neither
of them are defending champions. Obviously, we're showing a bit of love there for those 2 teams, but I could pick 2 or 3 different ways, I think, and not blow my own mind. Last pick,
if Jinx
we'll get out of here.
Then I'm not sure I'm picking the same way.
Yeah, and remember, Ava Borneau is going to be there for Jinx. She wasn't there for EUCF last year. Like that is a big difference, man. A humongous difference maker. So keep that in mind. Last one, mixed division, EUCF champion. Count us down. No.
3, 2, 1. Deep space. Deep Tausche. Okay, I like it.
Going to the locals, to the Londoners. Tell us about why.
I got the double. It's the only team I predicted to do the elite UCF double. I think I've made this argument on the pod before, but I think going into last year, people kind of had Deep Space down as the team to beat, as the team with the top talent, with the most depth. And then Mosquitoes go, and Deep Space play a terrible game. Mosquitoes win the championship. And I think we've over-indexed on that game a little bit too much. I think that I've seen the Mosquitoes roster. I've seen the Deep Space roster. I prefer the Deep Space pickups to the Mosquitoes pickups. I think that Deep Space are going to be the top European mixed team this year, Steph, and it only really be pickups that might change my mind. But TFC Tausche is a team I don't know much about how they're constructing, so I wonder if you could look that way. And I am worried about a team like Tartu as well, right? If they retain WUC pickups, like could Tartu leapfrog this trio and go all the way to the top at UCF?
Yep. Big questions. I'd love to see Tartu in the conversation. I think, again, we have not... we've not seen any of these rosters. They're not official. So we are guessing. We've seen some announcements. We've seen, some teams have put out rosters. Tifsit Tausche, if they are the same as last year and they have the one pickup that I know, they're going to be good. Yeah, you know, when they had Lorenzo Pavan, if he was back there, I would be like, damn, they got a chance to win this again. And, you know, if they pick up somebody who can be the best MMP in the division on that team, they can win this thing. And I think they got that. They got, he's moved there to do an internship and for work from Amsterdam to Munich. But Tom Blasman is playing Tifsit Tausche, and I think he is enough to be a big difference maker in the mixed division. He's so used to playing mixed. He is a center handler. He's going to be an every other toucher. I think Blasman is more dangerous than a big receiver to have somebody who can just drop bombs from anywhere on the field. And that's why I see Tifsit moving in, and again, they've been bridesmaiden for a little while. It could be just their turn this time, and that's my 2 cents on that.
Okay, I mean, I really disagree about what you're saying there with the receiver. I would love this team to get a receiver again, like a Pavan-esque receiver. They've got great receivers down the roster. But, like, I mean, player like Torben Hornschmeier can play that role. Lisa Schutz is a fantastic receiver on the field matching sides. But, Steph, like, I would love them to get a receiver because they already have a player to play the big thrower role, and that's Dennis Holzer. And I think that
Holzer's not a bit like, I see Holzer as a safe. Okay, he's got some big throws. Yes, but I see him more as a regular distribution thrower than like a rocket launcher. I love that you
craziness, Steph.
Well, okay. And even if okay, you like to see Holzer as the guy who unloads the holster, is it a bad thing to have two? And Blasman is not a one-dimensional handler. I think Blasman is one of the best handlers in Europe, and I think he is one of the best handlers in Europe, mostly because of his throws, but I think he's got a great diversity to get himself upfield and be a big body who can get up and make takes. And if that's what they need out of him, they'll get it, but then they just won't be using what is his primary skill.
I mean, I wonder if he even goes and plays D-line stuff. Like we've seen that he can play that role at Moon before. This team doesn't really have the depth of Moon, but if
I mean, Tifsit Tausche can keep their O-line and then add Blasman to their D-line.
And they have two pure throwers. Yeah, I like that way a little bit more than making him kind of do the with the throwing work. I mean, look. Let me give you the Dennis Holzer stat line. 28 stats from EUCS last year. The next best on the team was 16. He went 26 assists and 2 goals. That's how handler focused this guy is. Let me tell you why he's a shooter.
I
went to Diskin Camp 2024. 2024, I went to Diskin Camp. Dennis Holzer, I was sat in a room and Dennis Holzer told me for an hour about how much he loved to throw big hucks early on in the point. That was the discussion, the subject of discussion. This is me. I threw these big hucks at the start of the point. That was the whole thing. There's a whole thing. He was saying how much he wants to throw the big throw. I don't think he's the safe handler at all.
I gotta go back and watch more tape, or maybe somebody watching can just like clip up how many long bombs I'm missing, because I see him as a distributor more than a bazooka launcher. But no matter how you slice it, we've made our picks now.
We've made our picks. Blasman is a big difference maker. I think I might have you on the rises. I love my rises. I think that some of the droppers I might have not made exactly the right call. I love mix, so Disco.
You think you've got me on the risers? I mean, I guess time will tell. Who do I got? My risers are good. Oh yeah, Chalk,
good risers as well.
Jinx, zoom in. I like my risers. All right, Noah, we should get the heck out of here. We have gone overtime today. Thanks to Grabco on the ones and twos. Thanks to Benji Reese for his breaking news. And of course, Noah Brinkworth. For all them, I've been Stef for Pazzo. Thanks for joining us. We'll catch you next time.